on race. Good morning, everybody. We are back. Ran into some slight technical difficulties, and I'm in the background just quickly busy sorting out the rest of the stream so that my co-commentators can actually, Stephen, do a bit of commentating.
Yeah, we'll be down into the final little bit, and so really looking forward to it, of how it all works out. We'll be going and having a chat to a couple of guys that are at the Rage Expo, who are racing from the Rage Expo a little bit later. So looking forward to going and seeing what their thoughts are at the end of the race, and how what were their thoughts in the entire race itself. So let's see. I'm curious of how it's all going to work out, where guys are going to feel, where they're going to finish, where everything's going to feel out at the end of it. But what I do know for a fact is teams are just exhausted at this point, trying to figure out.
The one thing I want to ask you, do you actually think the guys are going to do actual talking? Or it's just going to be,
I think some people will be, go and talk about it. It's quite a thing that's being done right now, and all the teams are going to be a little bit worn out, but more than happy to just talk about their experience. And I'd like to get some groundwork, understand what guys are currently, or what they've been facing, where everything is, and how they're feeling. Those are the main things. I want to go and have a chat about to all the races when we go a little bit throughout the day.
Now, you're talking about all the issues the guys have been facing. I mean, let's just have a look at all the issues that me and you that did the streaming have been facing. Now, can you imagine what these guys have been facing over the past 24 hours? We've been dealing with, let's name them, stream keys not working, programs crashing, power not being returned, load shedding. I mean, we've had disconnects, we've had steering wheel failures, we've had all sorts of things happening during the course of this race. And I think some teams might be very happy when they see that checkered flag coming out.
Oh, that's it. But we can't take away some teams still just putting in a fantastic effort. I mean, you take our first place car. You've got the team of the Custom Cuts IT Solutions have been really doing a fantastic job. 561 laps completed. They're getting chased down by Team SRC, who have done 553 laps. And down in third place, the LNR Expendables, going and putting in some effort from across the waters and also here locally in South Africa. Being chased down by the Genesis Sim to Real cars. They out at Rage, currently racing from there. Then we've got the Team KSR in 5th place. 6th place is the Kinetic Simworks Racing Force car. Down in 7th place is Venomworks Racing. 8th place is Masterbland Racing. 9th, you're looking at LNR. Jude Neville in the LT Racing Chic car. 11th place is the Team Tryhard GT, trying to keep up the momentum. A little bit further down, we got Enduro car going, and that is Ruan Cilliers. Down in 13th place, BMW Sim Racing with Paul Herber and Dirk Herber been sharing out that car. We got T Karibu Racing in 14th. 15th place is Raymond Herman for Ventoral Racing. Peter Meyer of Beach Dean AMR is currently circulating for the team. 17th place, EG Evolved Racing, Jakob Krobler going and making their way around. Unfortunately, down in the pits, Beach Dean AMR with Vincent Nell, still fast asleep at the helm.
Do you think that car will move before the end of the race?
If it does, it'd be interesting. That's all I can say. It'll be very, very interesting to see if it does move, or did they choose to just slow things down a little bit, not worry about it too much, run into technical difficulties, and just looking to keep it going.
To keep it, and it might be a case of having technical difficulties and just keeping it going and banking the 18th place essentially, because that is what will happen. So we have a look at Reinhard Harman coming into the pits. So with 1 hour and 48 minutes to go, there's definitely going to be another pit stop to be made here, and I think only one pit stop remaining after this for this team before they bring it home to the checkered flag.
That's the exciting part of everything at this point. It's right down to the wire. It's the final hour and 47 minutes of this race. It's going to be the final 1 hour and 47 minutes of the 2022 season racing here at RaceFace, and it's becoming a very exciting time. And what better way to round off all the racing but then going into a 24?
I mean, absolutely. That's one of the best ways to round off the year. And we spoke about the fact that that due to all of this load shedding and all those kind of things, you know, maybe endurance racing next year will be a bit shorter. We're talking more the 4, 6, 8 hour races, maybe a 12 hour. But for me personally, there needs to be a 24 somewhere in the year, just to push the guys a little bit more out of their comfort zone.
That's completely right. So you just got to try and you got to end it off with a bang. You have to end it off with a bang. Because
let's face it, everyone, load shedding is a reality. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. So, and you're going to have load shedding in a 6 hour, in an 8 hour, in any race longer than 2 hours or so. Somebody's going to be affected by load shedding potentially.
Yeah, that is the difficulty in this, and it's going to be a long race right to the line. Everyone had to plan their strategies around load shedding, and yeah, here in the commentary we've also experiencing the fun effects of it. I won't lie.
We've had a little bit more than load shedding. I'm not going to call what you having load shedding. You're just having a blackout. That's done.
Unfortunately, at this point, it's looked like it's going to continue, and now I might need to be changing off. And unfortunately, it looks like I hate to say it, I don't think I'm going to last out on this one.
No, not an issue. Stephen, just for all the viewers out there, for how long have you now been without electricity?
Nearly 24.
Nearly 24 hours. Now, for those of you out there that don't know, me and Stephen planned this whole enduro like you guys planned your driver stints. I was supposed to do the first stint, so roughly the first 12 hours of the stream, because Stephen was busy yesterday, and Stephen would have taken over and Stephen would have done the next 12 hours. And that didn't happen, because Stephen have been without electricity for about 24 hours now, so we had to change our driver stints slightly and to keep bringing you guys the stream. But with 1 hour and 45 minutes to go, Steve, we're almost at the finish line as well.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. It's going to be all over soon enough, and I can't wait to see who manages to climb up to the top.
Absolutely, and I just want to prepare our viewers now. Don't expect too much of a post-race show.
No, not at all.
For us to hang around after the 24, because I had a look at it, you know, in total I would have done roughly about 22 hours of streaming, and I think I was in the commentary box for about 20 hours. There was a lot of times where I didn't do a lot of chatting, but I was monitoring cameras, and a lot of the camera work that you guys saw was not auto. That was me checking battles and you know, looking for conversation.
Oh, that's definitely the case. So I'm going to try and work out a bit of a plan here, since we've got the issues that are currently going on. Let's see if I can go and have an interview with people on the fly. How does that sound?
No worries. I'm just quickly seeing a comment here. Henko van der Berg. Mine is from 10 until 2. Henko, where do you live? Because I also have load shedding from 10 till 2.
So, all right, gentlemen, I'll get back to you in the next couple of minutes. I've got to do a little bit of a switcheroo.
No worries.
We'll chat to you shortly.
I will keep the people company, or the viewers company, in the meantime.
Let's see. Maybe I go head off to the race side of things, find the sim racers, and find the guys that are in the seats and get a chat with them while they're driving. Let's put them on the spot, shall we?
You go and do that.
Might get in trouble one or twice.
Well, you might get assaulted as well. You keep in mind the guys are a bit sleep deprived, so some of them might be a bit grumpy.
Well, I'll chat to you guys shortly. We'll have a bit of a switcheroo, gentlemen. Good luck, and we'll chat to you soon.
No worries. I'll chat to you a bit later. Henko, you and Joburg. I'm in the northern parts of Pretoria, but so you're actually more, well, depending on where you are in Joburg, closer to Stephen. So having a look up and down the grid, currently the closest battle we've got is the battle for 11th and 12th through until here, 9.7 second behind Devon Ali's in the Karibu Networks McLaren. He's trying to just as we see that there's a car in the trees. That's a disconnect. That looks like a disconnect. I've not seen a car in a tree in ACC before. So it looks like we might have lost one of the teams with an hour and 41 minutes to go. Yep. Down to 18 cars, which of only 17 cars, which 16 are out on track racing. So our closest battle on track has all of a sudden disappeared. Now, just quickly having a look at the chat. Hansie Mayberg, 999, still in the pits. Did he fall asleep behind the wheel? Hansie, to answer your question, this happened at, I think it was around about 5 o'clock this morning. And the car came to a halt on the side of the track, and it was towed back to the pits, and it has been parked there ever since. So at this stage, we are not sure. We couldn't, or one of the drivers, Dean, Ruan, or Vincent, nobody's let us know what's going on. But at this stage, the Aston is in the parking lot. It's got its hazards on, and unfortunately that's where it has been parked for the last going on 4.5 hours. Having a look at Jude's coming into the pits with 1 hour and 39 minutes to go, so very much doubt if the LT Racing Chic car is going to make it to the end. So I think they will definitely have to do another pit stop, so something to keep a little bit of an eye on. But as you can see on the deltas there, nothing really close to talk about. Some of the gaps are literally laps. Cody Sherritt at the wheel of the Honda, he is 8 laps in front of Jan Kleinans in second place. Then we've got Ryan Barrington Smith in third place. He is 1 lap behind second place. Good morning, Doe.
Goeiemorgen, Janneman. Good morning, everybody. How's it going?
Okay, and you?
All right, man, all right. Yes, I just want to say first and foremost to you and our friend Stephen Koenig, well done, guys. Well done. You guys have really done the real endurance, right? Eh?
Well, as I said earlier, we're not quite sure what's going on here anymore, but we're still here.
Yeah.
And how is it in your car? I see Paul is at the wheel at the moment.
Paul's at the wheel. So I saw, unfortunately, Celia, we were chasing them, and unfortunately, I see they had a DC now.
Yeah, they parked it in a tree, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, it's a bit of unfortunate for them. Because that was our target, so to chase them down. But it might, depending on our sister team in 11th, if we're lucky enough that they make a bit of a mistake or something like that, it might get juicy towards the end.
So,
we've had quite a long and eventful race. We had a bit of an incident. I think four laps into the race, we had an incident through a rouge. Put us into the pits for 5 minutes of repairs, and unfortunately we were awarded a 30-second penalty for that incident. So yeah, that put us back all the way to the last place at the time. So yeah, coming back from last to 12th now, we're quite happy with that. Eh?
Right, excellent stuff. And not quite sure whom of the team it is. It's Avaria saying the internet dropped, and that's why they suffered the disconnect. Well, Avaria, must admit, it's the first time in ACC that I saw a car in a tree. I've seen it in iRacing, not on ACC before. Stuck in a tree, parked in the middle of the tree.
Yeah, it's a pity, man. Shame. It's probably, what's happening now is also, Janneman, like you were saying, it may be a situation where you are not being load shed, but your service provider, where they have their fiber switches and things like that, if they're running out, if their batteries are running out, you could very well disconnect, and those devices can be in a different area.
Exactly,
that's your location. So there's a lot of factors that come in here.
That's a discussion I had with Versus before the race. It's actually a discussion we had on Friday when we spoke about the stream, and I said to him that is something I am concerned about, because it's not necessarily when we have load shedding, but it's the guys that have the 2 hours or so after us to the east. Normally when they have load shedding, that's when I run into internet problems. And so far, holding thumbs, we're going on just over 20 hours. So all good still.
All good. No, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. So it's been, for us, we kind of worked around it. We worked the schedules around what we knew from a load shedding perspective, and touch wood, I had a disconnect as well. But luckily it was 2 laps before I was about to start my stint last night. So we were very lucky in the sense that I had that disconnect before I actually had to, drive. Or while I was, at least it didn't happen while I was driving.
Well, we also suffered one disconnect. I think it was roughly about 1:30 this morning. We also had a server disconnect. So we, as the stream team, the commentary team, we also suffered a server disconnect. So it is one of those things that unfortunately load shedding does influence. And we also had to schedule our streams also around load shedding to break the stream up. So it wasn't equal length streams. Some of them were 3 hours long, 2 hours long, and then when we didn't have load shedding, we did the longer, almost 6-hour ones. So, and then Stephen's whole area ran out of electricity. So we also planned streaming stints like you guys planned driver stints, and now we were left with one guy being able to stream.
Sure. So I was actually, now that we're talking, it's actually coming to my mind now that, in future we might have to look at, these load shedding things aren't going to get any better in the near future. So it might be a situation where we actually have to run these like they run the GT Masters series, where their 24-hour races are actually 2 12-hour races. They'll do a 12-hour on the Saturday and then a next 12-hour on the Sunday type of scenarios. So that might be a way to do the 24-hour races in the future, to at least, because it's a long time to invest in a race only to get disconnected 2 hours before the finish.
Exactly. No, it is.
So Bertus might need to consider splitting it up into 12-hour races, and you start the second race. Basically, the grid would be where everybody is after that first 12 hours, which could be fun.
It could be fun, and Bertus was in the commentary box for about an hour last night.
Yeah.
And we had that discussion that maybe next year the endurance races might be a little bit shorter, and there might be more of the 6 hours or the 8 hours or the 12 hours. But it's sad, I said to Stephen a little bit earlier on, the 24s are, there must be 124 in a year that you do. But and the other thing for me is, as soon as you have a race essentially longer than 2 hours, somebody's going to start getting affected by load shedding anyway.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
So, interesting times, and looking forward to 2023. Looks like we're going to have a bit of changes again coming our way.
Yep. No, definitely. Anyway, Janneman, I thought I'd just pop in here very quickly and say how's it, and a big thank you to you and Stephen for your time and effort you put into this.
It's always a pleasure, and on live on air, I want to send out an apology to you.
Yeah.
I missed the race on Tuesday.
No, that's fine, man.
I fell asleep. We were busy with a big project, and I said to my wife, I'm just gonna, take half an hour nap before the race. I woke up half an hour after your race. So I left Stephen alone there.
No, that's great. Stephen had a great race. We had a good dice. So he seemed to have enjoyed it. But we'll be back with some racing again in the new year from Refined Racing on the iRacing platform. We'll be back next year, probably towards the end of January. We'll start our leagues again. Yeah, but we'll have a couple of fun races in between.
Yeah, we must. The off season is a long time. We must kill time somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. But all the best with the last hour and a half, and you now essentially have a Thursday race to go, and then you are done.
There we go. Thank you. All right, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot. Man. Cheers. Bye. So that was Dou Gerber joining us, or Gerber in Afrikaans, joining us from Team Try Hard Racing. His brother Paul is currently in the car, and let's just get a little bit of a better view of the car. His brother Paul is driving at the moment, and also in their team they've got Jeff Hancock and Arno Kraus driving with them, trying to make their way to the checkered flag and to the end of this 24-hour race. Closest battle currently on track is actually just in front of them. Devon Allis 23.5 seconds behind Brandon Holzhausen. Having a look at the chat, Ruan seems to be back. Yes, we do seem to be back up to 18 cars, which 17 is currently running out on track. So as I say that, our parked Aston Martin has finally decided to call it quits, and it's after being stuck in the pits for going on 5 hours. It is now unfortunately no longer with us. But Anton, you said Ruan is back. Yes, there's Ruan Sillier making his way around in the Aston Martin. So it is such hard luck that that after spending so much or so long in the race, they did suffer that server disconnect. But look on the bright side, the car received a nice wash while it was being recovered from the tree. Jude saying Luxury Time Racing by Schick in P8 has suffered a disconnect. So that's why we're down to 16 cars. Jude, are you going to make your way back into the server? Come on, you guys need to finish the race. Oh, not us. Sorry, I misunderstood you there. The car was in P8. Yeah, we're talking about think we're still talking about the Ruan Sillier situation. Sorry, you need to keep in mind I've been going now for, I don't know, 18 hours on the stream. I've been awake since 3 o'clock yesterday. Yeah, and see, at least they have a new motor now, and you know, a nice wash. The car is looking pretty. So with 1 hour and 28 minutes to go, how does the remaining cars stack up? First place, we've got Cody Sherritt currently at the wheel. They've completed 570 laps. In second place, we've got Jan Kleinans. He's been on quite a long stint this morning. They've completed 562 laps. Third place, we've got Ryan Barrington Smith. Ryan has also been doing quite a fair share of driving this morning in the logistical nightmare BMW. Then Ryan Ottens at 560 laps that they've completed in fourth place. Fifth place, we've got Lazar Cavour in with 559 laps. Then Kurt Glashagen, 557 laps in sixth place. Seventh place, we got Dewald Nell on 554 laps. Eighth place, we got Neil Bouillon with 553 laps. Brandon Holthausen in ninth place with 552. Then 10, 11 and 12, not that far apart. All three of those cars are on 551 laps. 10th place, Devon Alles, 551. Then Paul Gerber, 45 seconds behind, also on 551. And Mark Cabasa, heading into the pits at the stage, also completed 551 laps. Then two cars on 548 laps. 13th place, Ruan Sillier on 548. Then Janrey Botha in 14th place, also 548 laps. Then 15th place, Rudolf Blichnout, 546 laps. Moving our way on to Peter Marr on 542 laps. And in 17th place, Jaco Grobler on 536 laps. So that's the field still racing at this moment, and hopefully we can pick up one or two close battles as we wind the clock down to zero at, say, it's around about 12 o'clock today. We're going to be on zero just after 12, it looks like. The end of the race will take place. Just keeping an eye on the YouTube chat. Doesn't seem like there's any new comments out there. Please let us know how the race has been going and what are your goals in this final 1 hour and 25 minutes. Just waiting for these timing sheets to catch up. I thought there was some action with either Bouillon or Holzhausen in the LTR by Schick, but it doesn't seem to be anything really going on. I think it's just more a case of the timing screens need to decide what they want to display. Having a look at Devon Alles, he's 26 seconds behind Brandon Holzhausen, trying to close that gap and just get that one extra position from about 8th up until first place. As you can see there, the gaps are laps, so no, at this stage close racing going on there. I think our best bet would be for Devon Alles to try and make a move on Holzhausen. You see Andre Botha making his way around the track, down Eau Rouge, up Radion, onto the Camel Straight for one more time. They, as a team, have completed that corner 549 times so far. as we're approaching the final hour, still an hour and 22 minutes to go. But this is the kind of time that I start watching the timing board and just looking through it ever so closely to see who is making pit stops at this time, because if you got to pit, with an hour and 22 minutes to go, the chances are basically 100% that you will have to do a pit stop again before the end of the race, and you will have to, as I said to Doe earlier on, this is essentially a Thursday night race, so you're going to pit again before the end of the race. But if you can try and get it as close to that hour mark as possible before you make your last pit stop, you've got a good chance that you can bring it home in that last hour without doing any more pit stops. Come on, Jude, give me some inside information. How are things going with you guys there at Rage? How are the guys feeling? They've basically almost done 23 hours of racing, so give us some updates on how things are going there, and how are you guys still coping with the endurance part and the mental part of this 24-hour race, because 24-hour racing can sometimes be a mental thing more than a physical thing. I found you need to have that mental strength to keep going and keep pushing to the end of the race and do whatever you can to see that checkered flag. In our last 24 we did that. Checkered flag became a mission. That's the only thing that started mattering to us. We just wanted to see that checkered flag. We just wanted to bring that car home by any means necessary. We didn't care if it was broken or in pieces, as long as we crossed that line. That became a mission, and the only thing that mattered to us. And in the closing stages of the race, we actually were involved with a battle with another team for 6th position, and gaining the position was part of the mission, but the most important part was just bringing the car home. So an hour and 18 minutes basically left of the race. Keeping an eye on the timing sheets to see who is coming into the pits as we move closer and closer to 1 hour to go. 1 hour to go in the race. If you can get the car as close as possible to that 1 hour to go mark, it just, gives you such more chance to bring the car home without doing any more pit stops in the final hours. But I think at this stage a lot of the teams would have done their planning. Remember, we spoke a couple of hours ago, I think it was about 4 hours or so, 3 hours to go, we spoke about starting to become time that you know how many pit stops you need to complete the race, and what do you need to do the fuel saving in order to avoid doing that splash and dash. This pit lane being essentially a double pit lane. It takes forever to do a drive through it and do a pit stop, and it can cost you a minute, as much as a minute and 20 seconds to complete a full pit stop during the course of the race. So that is something you want to avoid as far as possible, to do that extra pit stop in the final hour. So 1 hour and 16 minutes to go. Let's see how close all these cars can get to that hour mark in order to avoid doing the pit stop in the final hour. Closest battle currently on track is Devon Ali's. He is 28.4 seconds behind Brandon Holzhausen in the BMW. So maybe during or after the pit stops we can have a closing of that gap, and maybe, just maybe, get ourselves a battle during the closing stages of the race. And we seem to have a pit stop. Jaco Grobler bringing it in with an hour and 10 minutes to go. Oh, this is going to be tight. Hour and 10 minutes to go in the race. With a pit stop now. I think there's going to have to be some fuel saving. We've pushed it to an hour and 5 minutes. You know, tried getting it to an hour and 10 minutes. So this is going to be tight. It's going to depend a lot on their fuel usage. If they can get the car to the end of the race without having to do a splash and dash, because as you can see, it takes forever to get to your pit box. You have to drive through the first pit lane and then through turn 1 onto the second one before you even arrive at your pit box. So Jaco Grobler doing what I think they hope will be the final pit stop of the race. And joining me in the commentary box, Gavin Scruton. Gavin, I hope I pronounced your surname correct. If I didn't pronounce it correctly, I've got an hour to get it correct. How are you doing?
It's pronounced Scruton, but don't worry. I'm quite used to my surname being butchered.
Same
Puberty was hell, especially high school and biology class.
You know, with my surname, they normally pronounce it Prius. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I get a lot of the time. So, now the big question: how's your race been so far?
It's been interesting. I'm not going to lie. It's been a very interesting sort of race with us. It's a bit of technical issues in the first couple of hours when we did our first big driver swap. Swapped over through to me, and I had no inputs. Absolutely nothing. So all of us had to disconnect and reconnect. So that dropped us down by 2 laps, and then couple of spins, couple of interesting moments. But yeah, no, it's we're quite happy to be in P10, busy chasing down P9, and also keeping our sister team with Paul and Doe and all of them behind us as well. So yeah, good one.
I spoke to Doe a couple of minutes ago, and it seems like there's not really love lost between the two sister teams. There's no helping each other. They're gonna go racing. They're all out trying to beat you.
Oh well, we're all team try hard racing, but we are sort of individual sort of teams, but we are one team. And when there's an opportunity to help each other's team out, we definitely do it. But in the last 2-3 hours, we sort of all looked at it as like, okay, this is a race now. So, okay, back to your own channel. Thank you very much. So, yeah. So, no, it's we definitely help each other, but now it's racing. Now it's every man for his own now.
Yeah, now with Devon at the wheel, Paul Gerber at the wheel, they're 35 seconds behind. So it's going to take some catching in the last hour.
Yeah, and you know, this is racing. It's weird things tend to happen at random times as well. It's we've had people obviously have disconnects. We've had people, I'm assuming, falling asleep in their sim rig in the pits for 3-4 hours. Yeah, so you can't discount anything at the moment, and especially with an hour to go. People's pit strategies are not all aligned, so you might be thinking, hey, great, yeah, we're P10 now, but hang on, Paul might be pitting earlier or later, or there's too many sort of variables, and you can't discount anything. You've just got to stick in there, just keep on going, and just hope everything goes your way.
I mean, absolutely. I was, from about an hour and 15 minutes, I started keeping a close eye on who's doing pit stops, because any of the guys, pitting hour and 15 minutes, still an hour and 10 minutes to go, they're running a huge risk of having to pit again before the end of the race and doing a splash and dash, because the fuel's just not going to make it. But now at an hour and 2 minutes or hour and 3 minutes, so the guys doing their pit stops now, they can make the end of the race, so they're done. And now the question, how are you guys looking?
We're looking actually pretty good. I'm not going to give anything away just in case our sister team is busy listening, and which they probably are. Hi guys, hi. We call them the bosses team because both the bosses are in there. So yeah, so no, we're looking good. We've got a solid strategy to put in place, and hopefully that gives us a bit more pace, a bit more room to work with.
Yeah.
But also, it's quite interesting because obviously we're in the McLaren, and you get a slightest bit of aero damage, and you bleed speed. And it's quite interesting. And plus, also the McLaren has actually got a relatively small fuel tank. So for us to go longer than 65 minutes, it's a bit of a push if we have to change our engine mapping. But compared to the BM, the Bentley, and the other cars which do have larger tanks, yes, they might be a bit more fuel hungry, but they can go longer than us. So we have to take that into consideration and play around with our strategy and have a look. It's like, do we go shorter here? Do we go longer there? Do we change our engine mapping? So it's always, something is always cooking, to put it that way.
Exactly. And we're also now in that part of the race where anything can and will go wrong. I mean, everybody's tired. Everybody's been,
Yeah, I've had 3 hours sleep.
Exactly. Always, we've planned 24 hours to a T where guys get ample amount of sleep and all those kind of things, and it never works that way. And I'm pretty sure nobody driving now has had a good 6-8 hours sleep and rest.
Not a chance.
No.
Especially with load shedding.
No. That's exactly the thing. So the guys are tired, and mistakes can creep in. we joking that the 999 car, they fell asleep at the wheel, but it is actually a reality. It can happen.
Then they've got a very, very comfortable sim rig. That's all I can say. Whatever they've got, I'll have it. Thank you very much. I'll have two.
You can put one in the office.
Yeah, one in the Karibu office. So yes, no, 100%. So no, actually that would be bad because no one will actually get any work done. A, there'll be sim racing. B, they'll be sleeping in the damn thing. So
nap after the sim racing.
Yeah, I changed my mind. No, you can't have that one in the office. I'll have it in my room. So there we go.
Bad logistical move.
Yes, yeah, very, very bad. So.
Oh, we see. That was close.
Yeah. No,
should I move the stream away from your car?
Let's do that. Let's not do the commentator's curse.
Let's have a look at Cody Sherrod doing his pit stop.
There we go. Yeah. it's great sponsorship for us and everything, but let's not do the commentator's curse. Thank you.
we rather look at something else. But
and funny enough, it always seems to happen with us on endurance races. As soon as we get on stream, something always happens to our car.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the stream on the LT Racing car because they are actually with, 59 minutes to go, 0.8 of a second behind 7th plate. So this is battle for position.
We've dropped someone. We're down to 16.
Yeah, it happened. Actually, that happened I think a while ago. We've already gone to 16.
Oh no!
And
23 hours gone and you drop. Oh, that must be soul destroying.
The Aston Martin that was stationed in the pits for more than 3 hours has also left the service. So I don't know if we're still trying to find out what actually happened there. Maybe they woke up and just okay.
They're like, okay,
we missed a couple of hours here.
Yeah.
So. But it's an absolute pleasure to have you in the commentary box, and this is the time of the race where I want to know how the guys are feeling, because I know everybody's absolutely paced. It's been 23 hours of racing, and sometimes you just want to get that car home and you want to get it across the line.
Yeah, it's with all of the guys in our team, Devon, Tinas, and Rainu. And yeah, it's been a sort of a monster sort of effort from everyone, especially as I said before with load shedding. Our schedule has changed probably about 4 or 5 times now, and especially when one of our guys, they said no, they're going off load shedding, cool, and then he sort of messages us as like my power's not back yet. Yeah. And he was off for 4 hours, 2 hours longer than expected. So we had to readjust everything again. So it's like Tinas, he at one stage he did a triple stint because I had load shedding, and pretty much we've all done doubles and during the course of the night. And nights at Spa, it's not a forgiving place, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and we actually had a situation early on in the race where the load shedding stages changed, and the guy was in the car, he was busy driving, the load shedding changed, and all of a sudden he had load shedding, and they suffered a disconnect. So I mean, it's actually something you need to be so on top of. Now, what we do in an endurance race is we send through our load shedding through to our pit boss.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually has all our load shedding up until stage 8 or whatever in front of her, and she monitors the load shedding the whole time. So that if load shedding changes, she can immediately say to us, listen guys, you need to get out of the car, you're going to have load shedding soon.
Yeah. No, so, that's fantastic. And obviously with the for us a team of 4, there was obviously the guy driving, and obviously the engineer, basically the guy on there. But we always had a third guy in reserve. Lucky enough, because I'm in KZN, I don't get affected until stage 4.
Yeah.
Because of the floods that we had and everything. So we were lucky in that sense. But if we all stayed in Gauteng and went to stage 5, we would have been buggered. We would have been buggered. No one would have been able to race for like 2-3 hours.
Well, exactly. I mean, personally, I'm sitting with load shedding for 4 hours from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Oof.
So I'm in my 4-hour stint.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned it before across the stream. I mean, we also had a game plan when we started the stream, and that game plan went out the window.
Very quickly.
It actually started going out the window Friday.
Geez, that early.
Well, initially what would have happened is Stephen would have done the streaming, because Stephen does have backup power that doesn't result us to stop the stream to start the backup power. Stephen was supposed to work from home on Saturday, and he said he's more than willing to pop the stream on. It can run in the background, it will not affect his work, and I can just do the commentary, and anybody can join me in the commentary box that wants to. Stephen got called into work, so he was no longer at home, so I had to do the streaming.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job, both of you guys, and also like a big thank to sort of Bertus for organising everything, and obviously coming into the commentary box, and everyone that's actually coming into the commentary box. There's the one thing I like about sort of ACC endurance races, specifically on RaceFace, is the commentary for the endurance races. It's always good, and even with the GT3 championships and the sprint championship, you guys do a fantastic job with the commentary. So thank you very much for that.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, and thank you very much for the compliment. But what we did during this 24-hour, I wouldn't exactly call commentary, because a lot of the time we just did talking, and but that's what we decided.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what we decided beforehand it was going to be. Call it more a talk show than commentary on racing, because in endurance racing there's a lot of times where time goes by where there's not exactly that much going on the track.
Yeah, and the gaps are too big.
The gaps are too big. Anything can still change, but at this stage the gaps are too big. There's no racing going on, meaning there's no battling for position going on. So how do we fill those times? And that's why we decided we're just going to have a chat, and we spoke about sim racing in general, and different kind of sims, not comparing them, but how do they differ from each other, and those type of things. And even Birds has joined in on a chat about that last night, and that killed the time. That did not feel like a 24-hour race for us.
Yeah, and it's so nice to basically see all the other drivers coming in and chatting, because you listen to them and you go thinking, okay, great. We're not the only ones having these issues. We're not the only one that's having a very understeery car in the early hours of the morning or in the evening, because this McLaren this morning in the early morning stints, this thing just did not want to turn. It just like, you basically turn, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going straight. It was not a happy camper in the early hours of the morning, and also going into night, when that the ACC has that new dew setting. Oh, for that like 30 minutes, it was like driving on ice. It was just, the track went too fast, and I had so much understeer during that stage. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and you're not the only one mentioning it. We've had mentions on the stream as well, where the guy said in the early hours of mornings we can't get PSI and temperatures into the tires. They're just remaining cold. They're not getting where we want them to be. So ACC being very sensitive to those type of things, it can cost you a lot of lap time.
Yeah, it definitely did, because I was doing 21s, 22s in my first double stint this morning, and I'm like, where am I losing pace? And it's just I couldn't turn into the corners and I couldn't accelerate out the corners.
Yeah.
But then my second stint after that, then I was back into the 19s and 20s again. It was like, oh, really? Plus, I also think we actually accidentally put on an old set of tires. Could be possible as well.
Well, those type of mistakes does creep in when fatigue sets in, and it does become part of the game that those mistakes are possible to happen. It's something we've done before because you're like, okay, on what tire set are we on now?
Yeah.
Or you make a mistake and you click tire set 6 instead of tire set 5, and next time you come in you put tire set 6 on again, so you're getting an old set of tires essentially that's already done a stint.
Yeah, no, exactly, and we utilize the stocking that we record everything on, and after my very brief 3-hour I would say
session.
sleep in inverted commas, so I come back and I look at the sheet and it's like, wait a minute, why are you on tire set 21 where we were on tire set 21 2 sessions ago? It's like and then it's all because of sort of fatigue and but see, Tinas is in the car now and it's getting the pace on.
Yeah, let's quickly have a look. His last lap time was... No, that was when he pitted a 3-minute 50. So we'll have to wait a lap or two before we'll get an update on lap time as soon as the tyres are where they should be and he can start pushing. So, I mean, we've got 48 minutes left in this race. We've been racing for just over 23 hours. We've spoken about fatigue and all of those kind of things. Is it something that is, and actually I think I know the answer to the question, is it something that all of you are suffering from or just a select few?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest, this is my first 24-hour race in ACC. I've done 24-hour races on other platforms, but this is the first one I've done in ACC. And me speaking for myself, I am tired. I do feel physically tired. But once you get back into that seat and once you get into that groove, I don't even think about it.
Absolutely.
The only thing I thought about it this morning when I had my cup of coffee, and I was like, oh, okay, double stint now. as against a second stint, I need the bathroom now. That's one thing the guys never really briefed me on is get yourself prepared and plan your other pit stops in inverted commas accordingly to your driving stints.
But so with coffee, the stints between the other pit stops can be shortened.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Tina's, keep it on the road. Busy on board and like keeping quiet.
You're just making a little bit of comments in the background, and the concentration is a lot more difficult during this time of the race. We've spoken about mistakes creeping in and all of this. It's real. We've been going since yesterday, just after 12.
Yeah.
And
well, technically, we've actually been going longer because with basically everyone get onto the server, getting those. So it's basically from about like 11:30 yesterday. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's the amount of I'm amazed at the amount of work and effort that goes into not only preparing yourself for the 24-hour, getting the setup right for everybody. That's to me that was the hardest part is getting the setup right for sort of everybody, and for us we were still not 100% happy with it.
And look, I don't think I've ever done an endurance race, and it doesn't matter how much testing and long runs we did before the time, where we ever have been completely happy about the setup. And I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to move over to Luke Addison. And Luke and Jordan and Cody, you're more than welcome to, if you watch the stream, to contact me afterwards and tell me you agree or disagree with this. I think even this car, they're 7 laps ahead of second place. Even they can go back after this endurance race and say, guys, I think there was one or more tweaks we could have done on the car. We lost time somewhere. I think we can, just play it with the dampers a bit more. So that's natural in endurance racing. I've never walked away from an endurance race and said I was 100% happy with the setup of the car.
Yeah, I completely sort of agree with you, but then you sort of have to look at the complete aliens of Luke and Jordan, Sheraton, and Cody, and Tariq, and all of them. And it's fantastic to see them doing so well in international series, basically getting big name drives and great, and it bodes well for South African and sim racing, and it's great to see that we're now getting people like Incredible Connection, Metal States, getting involved, and I just saw the other day LTR or LT Racing has got a big sponsorship by Sheck.
Yeah.
As well, and that goes with sim racing, and I believe hand in hand with their karting as well. I stand to be corrected on that.
Yeah, we spoke to Dylan about that.
Yeah. So people are seeing that you get involved, you see these Africans doing well, and you're thinking, oh, okay, we can do that, and it gets people involved and brings on sponsorship, and that's why. One of the reasons why Karibu and Epics wanted to sort of get involved as well, because not only do we see a good sort of platform to build on in sim racing, but it also it gets people out there, and I think that's what we really need in South Africa, is just basically to get ourselves out there on different medias and just have that negative continuity sort of about South Africa just blasted away and say, right, absolutely, we are good. Look at all the different things we can do.
I agree with you totally, 100%. But I'm gonna make a bold statement. I do think in South Africa we are a year or two behind the rest of the world in terms of sim racing, and I'm not talking about the quality of drivers. That's not the thing. I'm talking about sponsors, realizing the value of sim racing, and I'm talking about the amount of viewers we're getting on our streams. We're not quite on the international level yet, where they have kind of embraced the value of sim racing, and on a stream there will be hundreds of people watching the stream, because it's it's starting to become like real racing. People get interested in it and they start following it like they follow Formula 1, for instance. And I think in terms of that, we still have a year or two to go. We get on that level, and have the big sim racing broadcasts and all of those kind of things. But we are getting there. Yeah, we are most definitely getting there.
Completely agree with you. And it was nice to have the one sim race a few months ago. I can't remember which one it was. It was broadcasted live on Jinx on DSTV.
Yeah.
I believe the RaceFace.Pro race from this week is going to be broadcasted on SuperSport as well. So we're getting there, but
yes,
I definitely agree with you. We are, personally, I would say more like 2 years behind the curve. But I think with COVID, the state of South Africa's economy and all of that, I think that has a bit of a part to play with it. But and getting back to the quality of sim races in South Africa, we've got some very, very fast sim races, and look at James Bolden, voted 2 years running, the fastest sim racer. He got a GT3 drive in the GT3 British Championship.
Yes.
He recently did the Spa 24-hour in real life. So there's definitely a link between sim racing and real life racing.
No, absolutely. And what do we need? We need to build that following in South Africa that they have on an international level. And we are getting there. I started this point with one thing in mind, and I wanted to just share it with everybody. During the course of this 24 hours, the RaceFace YouTube channel gained 23 subscribers. Just during the course of this race, since we started yesterday. So we are getting there. Slowly but surely, we are starting to catch up. And there's that interest in sim racing where on some international levels there's the same following for a sim racing season that what there is for a real GT3 season. There are hundreds of people watching the stream every week. It's a program they need to watch because they follow that championship. And we are going to get there. I truly believe we are going to get there.
Yeah, and there's so many different communities as well. Obviously, we've got RaceFace, we've got Logistical Nightmare Racing that have their ones. There's Sim Race Africa. So there are lots of sort of communities, and I think in order for sim racing to grow in South Africa, I think all of those communities actually need to get together.
Yes,
and say, right,
totally agree with you.
Okay,
and
what can we do? What can we do to sort of bolster this up? And obviously still have it's their own identity in regards to sort of sim racing and their leagues and whatnot. Great, 100%. But they need to get together and say, right, what can we do to bolster this? What can we do to put it more out there? Is it more sponsorship? Is it more money? Is it possibly getting international sim racers to do showcases in South Africa? So yeah, but it should be quite interesting. Sorry for jumping in there. There's obviously like the LTR guys. They're at Rage,
yes,
I believe, doing the race at Rage. That
not
is
only
phenomenal.
them. There's other guys as well. Let me quickly find them on track. I think it's Christopher Radloff, and his team is also doing it from Rage.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 cars racing from Rage. So I've always said we need these big races, and you've touched on a point. A race where the communities come together and race together is an important thing. I mean, I'm saying tonight, but during the course of this race, we've had the guys from Logistical Nightmare Racing, we've had the guys from Sarco Racing, so there's already multiple communities involved in this race. Yes, it is hosted by RaceFace, but it brought other communities into the race.
Yeah.
And that is something we just need to build on. And showcase what it is and what sim racing is. A lot of people out there, the general public, don't understand what sim racing is.
Yeah, and I think with like the GT, the Fanatec GT3 series, where they have the sim races at the real events, and those points count towards the GT3 championship. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yes,
and I think it could be good to do something like that in South Africa. It might not be a GT3, because obviously we don't really have a GT3 sort of following in South Africa in regards to a championship. I know we do have races or whatnot, but there are different sim platforms that we can utilize to do that as well, not only ACC.
Exactly. And the other point is, with technology moving along at the rate that it is, sim racing from a broadcast perspective is starting to look more real.
Oh, for sure. I actually switched over to a YouTube thing the other day, and it's like, wow, this is great. This is fantastic graphics. And it's like, oh no, that's real. Oh, okay. Because I couldn't tell the difference. It's like, okay.
I've spoken to a family member a while ago who is a huge motorsport fan, watches Formula One and he watches GT3 racing, in all of those kind of racing. He follows those series. He can tell you all the drivers as where they're on the championship, and he always knew I did sim racing, but he always thought I played with a bunch of cars on a PC. Until I sent him a stream one time and I said to him, this is what I do. And his reply was, but this looks real. It looks exactly like the racing I'm watching. I said to him, yes, that is what we actually do. And he was amazed. He said, I can't believe it. It looks like real racing that you're doing here. I said, yes, that is what sim racing is all about. It's simulated, but it's starting to look more real and real as the days go by, as the technology grows.
Yeah, and also with the gaming software, you get modders that go through that you can bring in additional light filters into the game and things like that. So it's it's scary. It's not only from a graphic perspective, but actual from like a strategic perspective, like driver swaps and fuels and everything like that. Because when I was explaining this to Darren, which we spoke to yesterday, he was like amazed that if there was a disconnect, that we all had to disconnect and reconnect in a specific order to go through. And it says, look, is this a real thing? It says, yep, that's how it happens. And,
but those type of things are. We had the discussion last night. It's sim dependent. Each sim works differently, and so forth. There's sims out there that you don't have to do that. That whoever is in the server can just take the car and drive further, and the other guys can just connect again, or the people who got disconnected can just connect again. So, but these are all things that, as technology and as the sims move along, are surely going to be sorted out, and things are going to become easier. And in 2 years or so from now, we might not even be talking about the whole fact of people need to join in a certain order and all of those kind of things.
Yeah, no, very true. Just getting back to the racing here. I see Tinas is, of course, I'm going to be hopping on about my team. Tinas
go for
is
it.
Moving along quite nicely, and there is Paul, 14 seconds behind him, and unfortunately going a bit faster than Tinas.
Yeah, I don't think this race is over yet. Things can still happen. It's got you quickly up to your car, because for a second I thought we were on your car, because the car of Christopher Radloff looks a lot similar to yours, just a slightly different shade.
And ours is gold. Okay, gold for P1.
A gold for P1. There might also be bronze, that one.
Okay, all right.
Well, with all fairness, it has seen 23.5 hours of racing. It's looking
a bit dirty.
It is a bit dirty. So
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy that cleans the windscreen, we got to fire him because he's not doing a very good job.
Interesting enough, there's the sim we race in, you actually get debris on the window, and you get bugs. So you'll be racing along, and then all of a sudden, there's a bug on your windscreen, and it bugs the living daylights out of you, because they normally are in your field of vision, and you noticed them the whole time. But back to the racing. Paul, 14.8 seconds behind you, with, let's call it, half an hour of racing remaining. He's gonna have to go for it. We know Paul is a very quick driver, so they've obviously gone for the quickest driver between them to do the final stint, and see, they obviously went out to catch you, but 14 seconds is a long way to make up. I mean,
catching is one thing, passing is another. Yeah, and we can make this McLaren very wide.
Just stick it in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
If it was Jeff driving, I would have said, well, he's going to send it, because I've raced against Jeff quite a lot,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Jeff and I had a bit of a moment last night.
um, uh,
Yeah.
I made a comment earlier on the stream. We were chatting about it that he can give Daniel Ricciardo pointers on how to lick it and send it.
Yeah, he also can give Checo some pointers on defending as well. Don't know why he was defending, because he was like 3 laps behind me and I was trying to overtake him, but no, he just thought, no, let's just give Gavin a bit of gears.
Yeah,
He actually came into the Discord afterwards. He's like, did you enjoy that? And yes, I flipped him.
Just give you a bit of racing, just a little bit of action on track.
Yes, like I really needed that. Driving at night.
since we've been chatting, Paul's still 14.3 seconds behind you, so he's not really gaining at this stage. And time is running out. I mean,
yeah.
29 minutes remaining at, let's call it 2 minute 20 a lap. So you're looking at another 12, 13 laps maybe that you're going to do. So he needs to start catching you at a rate of 2 seconds a lap to be there at the end to do the passing. And 14.1 seconds at the moment, gap is fairly stable.
Yeah, but the thing is, everybody tells me this. Apparently those BMs chew the front tires, so he might be pushing hard to catch. But once he gets up to us, he might not have the tires.
From my experience, all the front engine cars tend to chew the front tires. The BM, the Merc, the Aston. It's because they've got a lot less rear rotation than the mid-engine cars like the McLaren, so they rely a lot more heavily on the front tires. Now, I know there's people that might disagree with me, but it comes from me racing a lot of front engine cars.
Yeah. Opinions are like noses. Everyone's got one.
Yes.
Yeah, I decided to go with the AMR and the RaceFace GT3 Season 12.
Yeah, raced it for very long.
Yeah. Yeah, bad decision. I'm going back to my beloved McLaren.
Well, my experience in ACC, I started off with the Aston, moved over to the Bentley, and then in last year I did the Thursday series, the Pro Division. I decided to take the Porsche. Worst decision I ever made in my life. Look, I made it. I qualified in the Pro Division.
Front engine to a rear engine. You didn't even go to the middle ground. Wow, brave man.
No, I did some racing in the Porsche previously. I love the Porsche, but what a bad decision that was. By the second race of the season, I said to Steven, this was just a bad move. This was just a bad idea. I should have just stuck with the Bentley. I know the Bentley, and just go with the Bentley. And then I moved over to the BMW, and that's where I kind of ended things in ACC. I drove the Bentley for very long, the old boat.
Yeah.
Sad that nobody races it anymore.
Yeah, it's not getting the love anymore, unfortunately. No. Not even Bertus is driving it anymore.
Yeah, even Bertus moved away. The Bentley's been replaced by the BMW. The Bentley, the BMW is the new boat.
Yeah.
So to call it. So.
A lot of people says it's an easy car to pick up. If you're starting with ACC, it's a good car to start with. But I did a couple of races or team events with Hansi in another series. Oh, pardon me. And we did Laguna Seca, and not one of my favorite tracks, unfortunately. And we did it in the M4, and I remember going through corkscrew and just basically heaving the car off to the right, and it just didn't move, and it's like, and my foot was flat on the accelerator, and it just kept on going straight. It just didn't turn. It's like, oh god, no. Well, wasn't one of my best races, and wasn't one of my best moments in the ACC, that's for sure.
One of my worst races I ever had on ACC was earlier on this year, roughly at the beginning of the year, and it was just, and I mean just after version 1.8 hit. And all your old setups did not work.
Oh yeah,
And-
I remember that period. It was a great period.
Oh, it was lovely, and the race was literally like a day after the update. So
What wasn't it the Kailami 9 hour as well?
No, it wasn't on race.
Okay.
It wasn't a RaceFace race. It was a Sim Race SA race, and it was days off. I think it was 1 or 2 days after the update. So I didn't do any setup changes. I thought, how bad can it be? I'm not going to change the setup on the car now, or I don't have the time now. That did not go well.
No.
I actually retired the car after I hit the wall. I think it was for the 5th time or so.
Multiple times.
It was on branch, and the car was fine for a lap of 2. As soon as those tires got up to temps, the rear end it goes. You just drive along through the corner and it's gone.
Oh. So how is Mr. Kanon's doing? He's been in that car for a while now, hasn't he?
Yep, he did a double stint for us to finish up the race. Car's perfect, everything working 100%. Obviously, drivers are a bit tired, but he says and he confirms that he's still fine. So he just needs to bring it home. 24 minutes left, and looking forward to seeing the checkered flag.
I think everyone is praying for that flag.
Are you guys done with pit stops?
Yes, we are done.
Okay.
With the number crunching, guys with thick glasses, that the numbers, everything worked out beautifully.
And you are trusting them to see through those glasses.
Oh yes, no. I trust those glasses. I trust. But we did some fuel saving just to synchronize the pit stops with the amount of time that you have on one tank.
Mm-hmm.
So we did some of that just to make sure that we get in sync, because we had a couple of stops. We had one unscheduled stop with my spin to repair the car, and then a couple of drive-throughs. So that obviously throws your whole sequence out of whack a bit. But we just had to realign the strategy to get it on the hour that it fits in nicely, just to finish with a full tank and a 1 hour stint, and we just bring it home. I think that's the same way that everybody will be going it around at this stage of the race.
Yeah, I gotta love those drive-throughs, eh?
Yeah, that's a pain, but yeah, it's part of racing. If you don't push the limits, you're not driving fast enough.
Yeah, exactly.
As Dylan say, when in doubt, flat out.
Yes.
But you've had your struggles, but at this stage you've come out on top. You're sitting in second position, and you're sitting comfortably in second position. And I don't want to jinx anything, no commentator's curse, but it's been one hell of a drive from you guys.
It's been awesome. I mean, really, the guys have done such an amazing job. I mean, the young guys have got stamina to take it long hours, and I must say the guys have been solid as a rock. All of us were in the same ballpark when it came to speed time, lap times. I was probably the slowest of the bunch, but even I had a job to do, and that is just to, when I do my stints, don't crash it. So when I do my stints, no track cuts, no drive-throughs, nothing. So you just take up time without losing too much time, and gives the other guys a bit of a rest, so that when you need those guys, they are a bit fresher, and so on. But yeah, I mean, everybody's super ecstatic, just holding thumbs, and just wishing Leon all the best. Just 20 minutes or so focus and bring it home. It will be one awesome experience for us.
Now I want to ask the two of you, both Essie and Gavin, a question.
3-4 times a day.
Well, it's one way of doing it.
You gotta go blind, bro.
I was talking about drinking. I was talking about drinking beer.
We have a tendency to go quicker in the race than what we did in qualifying, because normally, and it's for both me and Steven, normally in the race we get in that zone. You start doing those laps, lap after lap after lap. You get in that rhythm, and somewhere over the 24 hour you get that magical lap, where you go blindingly quick, and then you look at yourself. Yes, a 118.2, but I could only manage a 118.9 in qualifying. Have you guys had it during the course of the race?
Yes, I do think so. We had a couple of those times. So, especially at the end of the race, Ethan says he doesn't want to see green deltas because that means the guy's driving too fast. So at the end of the race, you don't want to see green deltas. So he's like watching over here on shoulder and making sure he's not driving the car too fast. But yeah, I think that we had a couple of laps, and I believe it'll be the same for everybody else as well, where everything just clicks at that moment. And it'll be interesting to see. Well, obviously Luke Addison and the Checkered, they're going to have massively big times. But it'll be interesting to see what the fastest laps over the 24 hours were for us, not from Venus or Mars.
Not from Venus or Mars.
Yeah.
The aliens, yeah. In other words.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. Well, from my side, most definitely, I did the fastest lap that we've done. I actually did it. I'm not the fastest driver, and it's as he said, it's just everything sort of fell into place, and I was 0.4 slower than my qualifying time when we did the qualifying laps, and I if my memory serves me correct, it was like in the first 4 or 5 laps of one of my stints, so I pretty much had a full car.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I did like a 19.7, and you might not think that's fantastic. See the P2 in front here, but anyway, I was like ecstatic. It's like, oh freaking hell, a 19.7, oh great, and then Jeff, thanks to crew chief, comes over. P1 just did a 2:17 point, whatever.
Now I've currently on the screen. If you guys can see my screen, I've got the best lap times of the guys that are currently in the car. That's not the best lap time of the team, but the best lap time of the guys that are currently driving. So there you can see how you guys, your personal best lap time, how you stack up against them. And we always tend to look at it and say, geez, we finished 10th, but hell, my quickest lap time was quicker than the guy finishing 3rd. We could have gotten 3rd. It's not really a logical argument, but that's how we see it.
Yeah, no, it's very true. But it's interesting. It just shows some of the guys.
Oh no, he's catching. Son of a. Sorry.
It just shows at this late stage the guys still have got something left in the tank and doing some quick times. So. It's amazing how close these times are as well. I mean, right through. I mean, even Reggie there in 70th. I mean, a 2:20.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing a 2:20. So, apart now from the guys in first place who are absolute monsters.
I mean, that's Cody.
It's all so close.
And just to put it out there, Cody has just done his personal best of the race since I last looked at those lap times, because his best lap time was a 2:18.010, and it's dropped down now to a 2:17.917. So he's going quicker with 17 minutes to go.
Just making
it just makes me want to drink even earlier.
Yeah, it does make sense now, Gavin.
Well, I spoke to Bertus earlier on when he was on last night about the possibility of maybe doing a race like the 24 Beers of Daytona. So
oh my word.
I don't know if you know the race, the 24 Beers of Daytona.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, we might have to bribe some of the stewards.
But he didn't seem too keen, which was kind of sad.
Really? Oh, okay. Oh.
So
maybe he's just being the responsible one, like not promoting drinking and driving,
so
even in the sim racing.
Do you know the race, the 24 Beers of Daytona?
Well, I was here when you explained it.
Okay, cool.
It does sound like
it was too long
very interesting proposition.
Too long ago, I can't even remember who was with me.
Yeah,
I might not even have been present at the time as well. So just a little fun 24-hour race. See what happens, and see what we can make of it.
As long as I make the walls rubber, I should be fine.
Yeah, we can do it. We actually, with 15 minutes to go, we actually do a silly season at the end of the year, and it's actually silly races that we do. We take cars that are not meant for tracks, and we go and race those tracks, and there's no track limits. You just have a general direction of where you go, but it's not on tracks like Spa. So
that could be interesting.
yeah, I mean we do it on quite a kind of open tracks which have got a lot of grass areas, and we go and race rallycross cars on there, and there's no track limits, so you just need to go left of that pole and go right of that pole, and you need to cross the start finish line to count as a valid lap, and good luck. Yeah, we must look at those kind of races.
Oh.
That will be definitely interesting.
So now, as I said, just under 40 or 15 minutes to go, Gavin. Paul is still 11 seconds behind. So are you starting to feel a little bit more comfortable?
Yes, my hand is no longer reaching into the minibar next to me to grab a beer, so...
Well, you're not going to do any more driving, so I suppose...
Might as well.
Might as well, yeah. No, definitely.
Suppose you're allowed to take out the champagne now.
Yeah, well, the 200 Rand for 10th place, that will be quite nice to buy some beers, but 200 Rand divided by 4-ish, it's going to be you buy a beer with that.
It's going to be a nice one, though.
It's going to be a very nice beer. So, yeah.
But yeah, guys, with the big boss Bertus stepping in, I'm going to step out, head over to my team. The last couple
shucks,
of,
I didn't even notice Bertus was here.
Yeah, he just...
I heard something about a beer, so now I'm here.
We want to do it. We want to do the 24 beers of Spa.
Oh, yes.
Daytona.
Yes,
No,
okay.
we can do the 24 beers of Spa. What about the 24 beers of Bathurst?
Yeah.
That's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah,
That's only going to last 5 hours.
Yeah, that's gonna be bumper cars and pretty much like 5 minutes in the pits.
It's going to be a situation that you're not going to care.
Yeah.
Well, Essie, before you go, I just want to say thanks for your help on the commentary side. I think it's been brilliant having you in as well, and helping Janeman from time to time.
No problem. It was a nice experience as well.
Great stuff. I was just popping in quickly. I'm not going to stay long. I just want to say thanks to Gavin for organizing the Karibu Network sponsorship, which it played a huge role in making this event a success. So thanks so much to you, and then to our other sponsors as well, Extreme Service Center, Resource Complete. I just want to say thanks to Janeman for doing the longest stints of everyone. So, so I think he should also earn some championship points or something. We'll need to organize something
for longest driver stint.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So and then obviously also Stephen. He obviously couldn't make it all the way, but yeah, he also made his contribution. And then to the teams, the drivers, for sticking it through with all the load shedding going to stage 5. When I saw it going to stage 5, I was like, oh man, can it get any worse? Like, are we going to see people finishing the race, or are we going to have to stop it after 12 hours or 6 hours? Or, it was just, but I mean, out of 21 starters, we have 17 guys looking like they're going to finish the race. So, and it's not just 17 guys, it's 17 teams with anything between 3 and 6 drivers per team. So it's quite a big number. And then, to the winners, obviously Jordan Sherritt and his team, Cody Sherritt and Luke Addison. Congrats to them. I know there's 11 minutes left, but I don't think anyone can catch them now. They can
stop at this stage.
They can stop. they can respray their car and wait for the paint to dry and then go again and still win. But
Well, that Honda does look a bit second-hand at the
No,
moment.
I'm watching it.
It does.
It's the new Ram air intake hood that they've put on there.
Okay.
So it's just
There
to
we
cool
go.
the car as it gets hotter. So nothing to worry
Yeah.
about.
I also just want to give a shout out to KSR Prism in P4 at the moment with Lazar Cavor, Bernard Barquez and Bernard King, Brandon Kruger, Gideon Renner. They will be finishing P1 in a championship. So and what a comeback drive from
Awesome, yeah.
from being disconnected and having to start dead last again. Couple of minutes, well, couple of laps down, and then coming back to P4. So yeah, well done to them as well.
No, that is an awesome
Yeah,
achievement.
good drive.
I mean,
good
they-
drive.
But that
were-
is, before I go, please allow me, I think from all the drivers in the whole race face and everybody, I think I would like to say a big thank you to you as well for the effort and the amount of time and the professionalism that you guys deploy in order to put something like this together. I think from all of us, we need to say a big thank you to you for making that effort to make this possible as well. I think it will be we'll not have had the much fun that we had if it wasn't for you. So from all of us, I think thank you, big thank yous owed to you as well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I
most
agree.
definitely. Most definitely.
It's a pleasure, guys. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it.
And
thanks for the support.
please don't make Spa one of the season 1 tracks.
No, it won't be. I think we're done with Spa for a couple of months. Just last word, I need to thank the stewards as well. Wynand Kershop, Werner Skuman, Rohan Salia and VT Botha. Just need to give a shout out to them as well for helping with the stewarding and yeah, it's been great. Thanks, guys.
But thank you
very
guys.
much.
I'm going to be out. I'm going to join my team for the last few minutes. My power's going off in 5 minutes time, so some load shedding just to bring you back to reality. But
Yeah.
Jan, thanks for having me, and Gavin, thank you very much for everything that you did to make this 24-hour possible.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
thank
an
you for
awesome
you
event,
too.
and
Basically,
Jan,
everyone.
Jan must just bring it home. Just bring it home, boys. Just bring it home.
Okay.
Cheers, guys. Catch you again.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same. Stick with Tinas and Devon and Rainu
And go and
the
join
last
the
8
teams.
minutes.
Gavin,
Yep,
thank
and
you very much
then-
for joining me in the commentary box, and thank you for being one of the sponsors with Karibu Networks. We truly appreciate it. We had a nice we had an hour chat now, and
Yeah, it was
if you
good fun.
didn't realize, so we
No,
chatted for a nice good hour about just anything that popped up.
No, I'm always happy to come in and chat away.
I
I'm
think
a
we
bit of a chatterbox, so
we can
yeah.
put our business plan forward to Bertus.
There we
for
go.
How
I
we're
like
going to
that,
change
yeah.
RaceFace in 2023.
Yeah.
I'll
you
listen
might
to the
not want
replay.
me to.
You could, the minutes of the meeting is on the stream.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, and just from Karibu Networks, we're sort of very happy that we could sort of contribute and sponsor this event, and we look forward to a long and fruitful partnership with RaceFace and with sim racing in general going forward.
Great stuff. Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate that.
Right, have a good one all, and once again, thank you Yanaman, thank you Bertus, and
It's a pleasure, and enjoy the last 7 minutes of the race.
yeah, to the next race.
On to the next. So, 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
So 7 minutes. We don't really have massive battles in the top for the top spots this time around, but there was still I think a change of position about almost an hour ago with I think Radloff and Ottens at a disconnect, and then Lazar and Glashagen could get by for P4 and P5. So
and the closest actually out on track is the one that we're watching now, Paul Gerber chasing the sister team of the Karibu Networks, McLaren.
okay,
So,
yeah.
That's it.
10 seconds. Yeah, Botha will have to make a mistake, I think, for Paul to catch up. But anything can happen.
Yeah, with 6 minutes to go, I mean, we've been monitoring that gap with Gavin for almost the last hour, and Paul only managed to bring it down from about 14 seconds to about 10 seconds. So, he only gained 4 seconds in the last hour. So, as you said, Tinus will have to make a mistake there, and for Paul to have any chance of gaining that position.
Yeah, but I did see Tinus make a mistake. I saw it on track. No disrespect to Tinus, he's a brilliant driver, usually very consistent. But he was in front of. Oh no, he was behind me, and trying to unlap himself. Coming up to unlap himself, and I tried to manage the gap, but then at the point at Lecom, I think he just took a bit too much curb and he went sideways. I don't know if he got damaged or anything. I just saw him disappear out of my mirror, so that was a bit of a relief on my side. So I could get on with my race, with my stint,
and not worry any further about him.
Yeah, because he's one of my sort of rivals. In the normal season. He's one of the guys that I'd like to beat him, and he likes to beat me. So in the Pro-Am division, but it's always good fun. Always some friendly banter afterwards and so on. So
just a couple of comments from the stream. WT, I suppose that's WT Botha.
Ja, weet Botha.
Weet jy, yeah. Yes man, dankie Bertus. And then Anton Lammers says, Bertus, thanks Baia.
So
it sounds like, the guys are kind of appreciating what you're doing.
Yeah, sort of.
This is absolutely an awesome event that we've put together, in collaboration with all the sponsors. I know Gavin joined us for a long while, and I had the interview with them yesterday. But just to mention them, it's the likes of Resource Complete, Karibu Networks, and then also Extreme Service Center, which must say without the sponsors, I don't think putting together an event like this would even start happening. And we need to give them a great shout out and a big thank you for their involvement. And now we can move on to the next. The 24 hours of Spa is 3 minutes away from being done.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. The sponsors. I mean, we can put up a server and have the run the race and not have the sponsors and some of the events that some of the rounds in the endurance series they didn't have sponsors, but a 24-hour race, the last race for the season, sponsorship just helps. It helps to put the stream together. It helps to give the guys who help something for their efforts. This is an amazing community. So I'm sure we'll, without sponsorship, we'll always have volunteers and so on. But the sponsorship just helps to put it on that next level, and to be able to give out a prize pool of 10,000 rand. That's massive. I mean,
it's awesome,
we've had bigger prize pools and we've had smaller prize pools, but to think that a couple of years ago there was no prize pool for any kind of race in South Africa at all. Now we are looking at this kind of sponsorship and we're getting companies involved. They are seeing the value of being involved with sim racing and with RaceFace. So we're just hoping to build on that and give them more value, give more value to the drivers, to the teams, to the viewers and the whole community, and to see how we can build this sport that we all love. It's a very small sport at this stage still, but I believe we are busy building it into something. Hopefully, where at some point it will become a proper professional sport, and you'll have your pro division will be, guys doing it for a living. So that's where we want to go, and there's lots of things in store, and you're also part of it, Janneman, in some of the dealings with the MSA and so on. So hopefully we can take that next step in the next year or two.
Absolutely. And 20 seconds left to go, I believe. Cody Sherritt is on his final lap. This is just a couple of more corners to go. He's basically just got the bus stop chicane to do, and then the race will be done. So, I mean, can you believe it's 24 hours? Time has run out on the clock. It's 24 hours, done and dusted. Cody Sherritt just having the bus stop chicane to do, going into the bus stop chicane now, coming out of it. He is going to receive the checkered flag after 24 hours of racing.
Yes.
That's it.
Well done.
So we're going to move to second place. Jan Kleinhans, I think he still has some way to go. Luckily, he doesn't have to complete the 7 laps. He can just complete the lap he's on. I mean, that would be quite, something if he still has 7 laps to go.
Yes, imagine you still have to drive another 7 laps after 24 hours in the seat. No, but, thank you.
One of the drivers, Essie, I mean, he spent a lot of time in the commentary box with us throughout the course of this 24-hour, and I mean, I think he can be proud on the work that the guys did. Jan Kleinhans at the wheel at the moment. He's making the final couple of corners. We just need to have a look and quickly see third place. Aren't they ahead on the track? If third place, it would be funny if third place finished in front of second place in the race. You know what I mean? Just in terms of track position. But it doesn't look like it. So the finish is going to look kind of close. But Kleinhans also now just the bus stop chicane to go. And Bertus, you know, it's an awesome feeling after 24 hours of racing, coming through these last corners, and you see the checkered flag in front of you, and you know it's done.
Yeah.
Race is over.
We made it.
You made it. And then as he crosses the line, Alex Moore just behind him for Logistical Nightmare Racing, and then we're going to move to these guys over here, Lazar. I mean, he's already flashing. They know do you think they know they've won the championship?
Yeah, they know they've won the championship.
So he's flashing all the way around.
Team captain Bernard King in the chat also saying KZL Prism RaceFace Endurance champions. Gideon Reyna also part of the team saying, sure guys, this was hella fun. Gavin saying GG. It's been great. Wow, thanks.
See the donuts happening there in the background, and Lazar's definitely going to join in on that. I think everybody's going to have a couple of donuts. I just want to see if there's still anybody out racing. It doesn't look like it. Everybody else finished in front of the other positions. So, oh no, you still have no, they are on looks like more of call it a formation lap, or a, what do you call it?
In lap.
In lap, but celebration lap. It can always be. Tina's Buerta alongside his sister car, Paul Gerber. I mean, they brought it home. Bertus, with 24 hours of racing done, 17 out of the 21 cars finished.
Yeah, well done to them.
That is absolutely awesome going, and I'm done.
And I can imagine you're done. But considering we switched to stage 5 load shedding in the first hour, I think, of the race, or first or second hour. So to be able to do this with the ESCOM and all the other factors at play, it's been great. So well done to all the teams, well done to all the drivers, well done to to the custom cut IT Solutions team for winning the race, and well done to KSR Prism for winning the championship.
Yeah, absolutely well done. And are we saying that's it for 2022?
That's it for 2022.
One or two fun races we might be doing just to keep ourselves out of mischief, but that's competitive racing in 2022.
That's competitive racing. We'll have a couple of community race servers up, short 20-minute races for anyone who gets bored and wants to join in on some fun. And maybe we have a fun race or two, but for competitive racing, that's it for RaceFace, and we will see you in 2023.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great festive season. From a streaming perspective, we will see you again next year in 2023. It sounds far away, but it's literally within a couple of weeks, where I'm sure we're going to start the new season. We're going to start the new sprint series, and Thursday races, and we'll have to see what Birds' dreams up in terms of an endurance aspect. From my side, Jarman Praise, it was an absolute pleasure having everybody in the commentary box, and have a great Sunday further.